Alright, so just all I'm asking is to try to follow along and watch out for little things that may throw you off. And if you want full marks, just follow, okay? So I'm going to use some highlighters here and there. But if you look at this shape, I mean, trapezoids, there's only two kinds, right? Like there's the isosceles and there's the right trapezoid. So when you see, right, that you see that these two angles are the same, this is an isosceles trapezoid. Do you remember me? Did I talk about the truncated triangle? Right? So imagine you have your isosceles triangle like this. We know these angles are the same, right? Somebody just came along and just cut off this top part here. Right? So there's your trapezoid, your isosceles trapezoid. That's what happened here. So if these are 60, you're guaranteed that these two sides will be the same as well. So we have enough to classify this thing. This is an isosceles. Just don't say triangle, okay? A lot of students are used to triangle, triangle, triangle. It's a trapezoid, okay? Don't fall for that, okay? All right, what else do we need to find out? To determine the values of angle A and angle B. They are right up here, A and B. And remember, we know that on the sides, any quadrilateral has the 180 on the sides there. So I can actually say, hey, angle A, which is here, is just going to be 180 minus 60, right? So angle A is actually 120 degrees. Okay, so the 120, this one is right here. Okay. And it turns out that if these two are the same, so are these two, right? No matter how you look at it, you can say, oh, well, 180 minus 60 is 120, or you can just know that they're the same. So angle B is the same as angle A, which is 120, right? So I'm just gonna do that whole thing again. Just show, hey, there it is. Because you're copying, right? Both sides are a copy of each other, right? Knowing that this is ultimately a triangle that was just cut off at the top, right? And these two lines are parallel. That's also something we're looking for. Okay, I think you can wrap your head around that. What is the length of side AC? From A to C, right? That's just 4 centimeters. No surprises, right? If this is 4, we want this to, we know that that's 4 as well. I don't think there's any news there. I want to review real quick 3-letter notation. If I wanted to refer to this angle here using 3-letter notation, I could just go CAB, right? Or angle CAB, right? Don't forget your 3-letter notation if it ever shows up. I'm going to put that in brackets like that. Angle B, or if you go to this side, B is the middle, you can go DBA or ABD, right? That's just a 3-letter notation to refer to the same angle. It doesn't happen very often, but I feel like this unit reviews everything. I'm able to review a lot. Okay. And this is basically today, this is the newest, latest thing to find the area of a trapezoid, right? So this is the formula. I would strongly recommend, let's rewrite it. This is what it should really look like. I strongly recommend you have that on your study sheet, just in case. And so A is usually the top shorter side. B is usually the longer side, even though doesn't really matter. And the height is perpendicular to the base. This would be the height in our case, which on the AC we just call that y, right? Side y. Okay, so let's transfer some information we know for sure. We know that this is 4 centimeters from the top. You just look at that diagonal, that's 4. We have 5 centimeters at the top. And I'm going to do this a little further down like this. This is 9 centimeters. My recommendation to you, I mean, it depends on the scenario, but this is a very common one. I'm going to cut this out, okay? Just that right triangle there. This is still 4. I'm going to call this X for now. And this is H, which is unknown to us. You're like, X is unknown to me as well, but only for a little while. You have enough information to tackle that one. And I'm going to use highlighters for this one because some of you will just know what to do. And others, you're going to be like, I kind of sort of know, but I don't know what happened really. So if you have a highlighter, I'm going to show you that. I'm going to take this 5 and translate that to this longer side here. Let's imagine that that's the pink stretch down there. And that means that these two stretches are going to be the same length. The highlighted in yellow are going to be the same length. And I just called that one, what do I call that? It's right here. Okay. This is technically X, and so is this one. There are 2 little X's at the bottom there. And we know that this is 5 centimeters, correct? From here to here is 5. And then that little stretch there is X. That little stretch is X as well. All right, you're with me? So to figure out X, watch, I'm going to give you a generic formula. I'm going to go long side minus the short side. So I'm going to take the whole 9, subtract 5 from it, and divide that by 2 in this case. Okay. So X is 9 minus 5. Divide that by 2. 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2 centimeters. And that is what I'm going to put in there. And the 2 centimeters. I now know 2 out of the 3 sides. I have enough to figure out the height. Why am I finding the height? I need to know it for the area, right? It all goes back to the area of the trapezoid. So let's put a 1 here for step number 1. Step number 2, the height is one of the legs, right? So I got to go leg is the square root of hypotenuse squared minus the other leg squared. 16 minus 4, that's 12. Root of 12 is 3.46, and I'm going to round it to 4 decimals because we're not quite done yet. I'm going to underline this because it's important to me. And here's the third step, finding the area. Area is 5 plus 9, so right, long side plus short side, times the height we just found. Divide that by 2. Where did we get this from? That's the height, right? So I'm going to arrow showing that that's what I found. 9 and 5 is 14 times 3.4641 divided by 2. Make sure you multiply, hit equals, then divide by 2 just to be safe. And that gives you 24.25, and we are in centimeters, so we will say centimeters squared. That is what they were after. So we had to do some investigation, right? Like, what do I need? Oh, I need the height. Trapezoid often requires you to slice and dice, right? Like, try to find a right triangle out of it. And I have to admit, if you use sine law, which some of you might have already done, your answer for height will be different sometimes, a little different. And that's just because I wasn't careful enough when I made these questions to make sure it works out either way. So you would still get full marks though on a test. If you show me the work, don't worry about getting a slightly different answer, okay? You just go for it. Okay, before I move on, because I do have a bit more, I want you to try this right away, especially the area part on the next page here, 31. You're gonna give that one a go, and I'm gonna leave these notes up here yet, right? But you can try 31. I'm just gonna show you once. All right, look at the markings, look at everything. If you want to have the same answer as me, use Pythagorean theorem, not sine law. But either way, I don't care how you do it. Okay, so I'll give you what, 7 minutes. I don't like to assign a whole lot of homework because I know you guys are busy. But at the same time, if you're doing anything college related, I hate to tell you this, you're gonna have to find some time to do work to prepare for your classes, right? So I don't want to make it too easy on you, okay? So here we go. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at these markings here. They tell me a lot. They tell me that, I know there's a lot of letters here, right? They tell me these angles are the same, and this angle is the same as that one. So lots of stuff going on here. This value of side Y is obviously 2.4 feet. Sometimes you get that. It's an easy mark, right? Angle S, this one here, right? I'm going to refer back to this fact, right? So angle S is 180 minus 118. Is that 62? Yeah, 62. Right? So angle S is 62. So is angle R. Angle R is the same thing as angle S, which is 62 degrees, right? And then angle Q is the same thing as angle P, which is 118. I don't think anybody will argue with me there, right? Now let's find the area. And I'm not going to go as fancy as earlier, okay? No highlighters involved here. So I'm just going to, I would at least want you to do this. Some of you are extremely good at just doing stuff in your head, but I still like to have a trail of work left behind, right? So this is the height. To find this, we simply go 7.5 minus 5 divided by 2, right? Looks blurry. There. So this is 2.5 divided by 2, which is 1.25 feet. Okay, so that's what goes in here. Then you find your height, which is one of the legs, right? So you got to go hypotenuse squared minus 1.25 squared. You get, to get my right booklet here. You get 4.1975 inside the root, and that's 2.0488 feet. If you use sine law, I made a note, it's 2.12 or something like that, right? So that's my bad. I did not check. I did not draw this to scale. That's the problem here. Okay, it's not your problem. It's my problem. So first step, second step, third step is finding the area. So you go back to the original, and it's 5 plus 7.5, right? A plus B times the height divided by 2. I would suggest you do this, right? Do that step. And you get 12.81 square feet. Okay. And I will tell you this, you will see a lot of Pythagorean theorem, a lot of trig in these questions. Slice and dice as needed. However, sometimes students see stuff that isn't there. So watch out. I'll tell you which one it is. What type of quadrilateral? You guessed it. Isosceles, trapezoid. You can score full marks on these ones, right? You just have to be careful. When this is, listen carefully, if it is a right trapezoid, you do not divide by 2. All right, guys? You do not, when you subtract the short and the short side from the long side, do not divide by 2 if it's a right trapezoid, okay? Because there's not, you don't have the 2 wings, so to speak, right? The 2 stretches. Another thing I don't want you to fall for, I'm going to do this here, for example. Some students, they just do, hey, I'm going to cut right through here and have a triangle there, and there's the 59 right there. The 59 is no longer applicable, right? Because you're basically cutting through it. So you actually have no idea what the other angles are. You could find this one. That is true. But don't get too far ahead of the game. So here's your homework. Ready? I'm going to say page 32 and then page 40 to 41. 41 is, you definitely have to use sine law on that one. I just keyed it. So I'm going to post it in a bit. But these are the only ones that I want you to try for tomorrow, right? Be ready to do a trapezoid. However, know how to sketch like your rhombus, your kite, your parallelogram, right? All of those shapes that we studied, and be able to label them accordingly, okay? That's it for today, guys. Thank you very much. You survived Monday.